and then watching them dance and they look pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's because I most of the time the leaders I recommend to some of my follower friends, most of the times I've never personally followed them. I just like I've seen them many times before. They seem to dance with more experienced people.
Hmm.
You should try this person out, but I've never like
So
felt the feeling. But so I recommend based on look. We are back and on today's episode, we want to cover an interesting topic that has to do with the look of tango and the feel of tango. Because in the dance, there are two very different but important factors. And we find that there are certain types of people that favor one over the other. Um, Me personally, I've always been a feel person, but I'm not saying that that's the, only route you can go and that's the only one that, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that that's the one that I was taught to kind of lean more towards. What about you, Rob?
you know, I'm more of a feel person also, but lately since I've been doing stage, I'm kind of transitioning more towards the look, because I mean, especially in stage, no one could know how you feel. It's everything but the look, and the more I focus on the look, the more I actually clean up my fundamentals, because I think when you focus so much on the feeling is just all about the embrace, really, and how to accommodate for an embrace, but you don't really focus on like positioning all that much. And I think, um, since I started focusing more on the look, and especially for stage dancing, that's definitely made me a better social dancer.
You know what I find interesting and kind of what sparks this topic is I find that specifically men and women look at the look and feel very differently.
Hmm. How
Like
so?
when I'm at the Malanga, I really when I watch people dance, I go, "Oh, okay, they might not look nice, but maybe they feel nice,
Hmm.
right? That's kind of kind of a prevalent factor in my mind where I think that's a possibility. I find that most women they literally stick to the look most of the time. They're just like, they don't that person doesn't look so great. I'm not gonna give it a chance.
That's really funny because
And I'm more willing to like maybe it feels good.
yeah, yeah. But what's really funny about that is that every time I hear a lady talk, we always talk about bad dancers, like, oh, that person's bad and everything.
Right.
But then all what comes out of a lady's mouth all the time is, all I want is a nice, simple walk, right? And to me, when you talk about a nice, simple walk, that's all about feel. Because, I mean, yeah, a nice, simple walk does look good, but how good does that look? Real, like, I mean, how many different varieties of a walk can you make? How many looks can you derive out of that walk? And I think it's more about feeling, because like when I look at dancers, I don't look at you know with who I want to dance with next. I don't look at how they look. I look at like the smiles on their face, how much they're enjoying each other and everything. And that's like, yeah, I want to be the other part of that equation, and that's what makes me go, she probably feels good, because we look at the guy's super happy and everything, like that, like
From ear to ear,
yeah,
smile.
I'm just thinking like, man, that must be an amazing dance, because and generally when I see that, what is it? It's just a nice little snuggle milongero, there's I don't see it on Rosuke. I don't see any crazy ochos. I don't see a ballet or anything. It's just a nice like, it just looks scrumptious, and like, it's so simple that it's amazing, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so it's funny that I hear these ladies say that, and then it's like they don't really go for it, you know.
Yeah, they go like, oh, their posture, their head's for like something.
Yeah,
It's weird. It looks like.
and I get that, because if the posture is bad, then it's like, oh, I'm gonna feel some pain in my neck or something. Like a lot of these assessments are valid. I'm not saying they're not valid, but you know, but when a lady asks me, oh, should I dance to this person? Right? And I'll say, oh, you should dance to that person. Like, oh, they might go, why? He doesn't look good. And I'm like, look at the woman's face. She's grinning ear to ear. Like, that must be an amazing embrace. Like, that must feel so nice.
Yeah.
And it's like, but he looks kind of boring. Or like, that
They
doesn't
gave you the
look.
boring. Wow.
Well, it's who I hang around with. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
But I find that very interesting, because um, I would think that someone who is more dedicated to the internal, like because generally you always hear about guys like things and ladies like people.
Right.
So I would assume, and of course assumption bad, um, I would assume that they would be more focused on the feeling
Right.
rather than the look.
I
But
guess that, but it's so hard. I think maybe as a woman, you have to have more of a guard,
mm,
right? Because you have probably more people that want to dance with you, and so you have to have some more deciding factors that kind of have a act as a barrier.
hmm
And I think as a guy, we're just, we don't need any barriers
yeah,
for the most part, right?
okay. But here's another thing that I noticed on the look and feel thing, is that I noticed when I go into an encuentro, they're all about the feel, you
Sure.
know, and
Yeah, there's some moves you can't even like if you do some long sequence, you're out of here.
yeah, but like when I go to the encuentro, everyone's happy, everyone's grinning cheek to cheek,
Mhm.
and they're all about the feel. So maybe the whole feel thing comes with wisdom. It comes with experience. It comes with like, I'm done with being a figures junkie. I'm all about the feel, and maybe that's the case. Do you think that there might be some validity to that?
Yeah, I think that as you become more experienced and more wise in tango, you start to develop more of the nuance, and that's kind of putting in the emotion and understanding different dynamics with simple things. I think that is more of the advanced hierarchy of skills that you need in this particular dance that are more cherished by people that are more experienced. Because I think once you get past a certain threshold, a certain age of years in tango, you're kind of like, well, I've experienced all the ganchos, like boleos, sacadas, and that's just not doing it for me. I don't care about the flashy sequences. I've been led all those things. I want more of the nuance. I want to feel a different sensation with all these things.
Okay, I get you there. But then like it comes like my journey. Because my journey, like I was all about feel. I didn't look that great. I'm not known for being like a really aesthetically pleasing dancer, you know. But now that I've been going towards stage, things have been changing for me. And just because now that I'm starting to like value looks more, am I going backwards now?
Hmm.
Or because part of my thinking is that it goes back and forth where like you reach a limit,
Right.
right? You reach a limit of feel, and then you have to have good looks or good aesthetics or good positioning or good fundamentals to reach the next level of feel or the next level of look. So it kind of works hand in hand. And so that's kind of like my new idea because of dancing stage, and now like I'm starting to feel more things now because I never thought about emotional content in the dance until I started dancing stage. And I didn't have the vocabulary to feel it until I brushed up and really cleaned up my fundamentals. So maybe it's a little like, you know, two bars chasing each other, you know?
Well, I think what you're touching on is not simply just aesthetic for aesthetic purposes.
Mhm.
I think you're touching on elegance, right? And that's a big thing, especially if you talk to some of the more older milongueros. They're hope, I know they're unfortunately we don't have as many today as we once did. But if you listen to their perspectives, watching documentaries on video, past interviews, they always praise the elegance, being elegant in your movements,
Mhm.
right? And they're always bashing the younger generation because they don't have that sense of elegance in their movement. They walk around like elephants, like crashing everywhere. There's a sense of style, there's a sense of class that comes with elegance, and you can call it aesthetics if you want to, but that was something that they held very dear to them, which is
Mhm.
which is like looking very smooth and looking very elegant.
Yeah, like it's kind of funny. Like, this kind of reminds me of the whole Great Gatsby, like old money versus new money.
Mm.
Where the older milongueros, like let's call them old money, where they appreciate this very classic stylization of the dance. They don't need like jumps, they don't need like flashy boleros and everything. And new money or the young generation, where it's like, I just received tango. It's just like someone winning the lottery. It's like let's just burn it all. Like it's raining money. And maybe that's the case. It's like because remember when we first saw stage tango?
Yeah.
Like staged in 2012,
Yeah.
and it's like Gancho City.
Yeah.
It's like one Gancho that maybe that's like new money. It's like they didn't know what to do with it. It's like this newfound thing, this newfound joy, and they just spam it. Like new money, where like they just it becomes really like gregarious. It's just like it's over the top. It's kind of disgusting. It's like that giant jewelry ring. That it's gaudy. And where compared to like old money, where it's very elegant. Like they're not wearing like a giant Versace logo or anything. It's just clean, classic. Where like it's kind of funny where like you put like the old ads for Ralph Lauren, Polo, and everything next to like the new ads of like it's like these ghetto people wearing like crop top like gym clothes, and that's supposed to be like the new like money maker,
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of like that.
Well, it's it's something that was praised upon, and this kind of falls also not just with elegance, but also with like timing and cadence or cadencia and filling in the pauses. All these things I think come with a natural sense of the look,
Yeah.
because you have to have that kind of look to change your weight elegantly. How do you change your weight smoothly,
Yeah.
right? And that comes with a certain look. You can only achieve that look by doing it gracefully.
No, I agree, and that's where I want to make that comparison, like old money versus new money, because like some of the new stuff I see now, it's like people because back then people were spamming ganchos. I feel like now people are spamming enganches. Like I'm gonna do an enganche and then while doing like a spin at the same time, and it's like it ends up being like sometimes I wonder when does tango exploration end, and when does like this like I don't know what to call it. It's like circus tricks begin. When like where's that dividing line? I mean, some people will say, well, that's Tango Nuevo, right? But
Well, slam dunk sell. We know this,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so this, it's one of the things that's entertaining. I get it. Like I get like Cirque du Soleil is popular for a reason.
But Cirque du Soleil is still elegant.
That's true.
I
It's a
mean,
bad example.
yeah, like I mean, like I think a good example would be more like the current burlesque shows.
What would mean?
Well, because like a lot of the burlesque shows, I would consider that elegant. Because back in the day, it's like cabaret was kind of frowned upon and everything.
It is elegant the way they move, the way they have the feather things, the way they have the attire, and
Yeah, but you compare that to Circus du Soleil.
okay. Well, I mean, I think it's just a different category
Okay, yeah.
of gracefulness.
Okay.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's more like if we take like hip hop music,
Hmm.
now it's like all about like the club and dancing and like kind of like you know going all out. And before, rap used to be about like having philosophy behind it
Hmm.
and having more of
Like the life struggles of the common man.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're more meaning.
And now it's like this gangsters and wanksters.
It's like drugs, party, and
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So where do we go from here, man? I mean, do we go back? Do we like let's just say someone like us, like where we go, okay, we care about the feel, we care about the elegance, we care about the history. Is that even important anymore?
It's sadly not as important as it should be. It's hard to sell feel. That's why. It's
Mm.
easy to sell look. It's hard to sell feel.
But going to the documentary we just saw,
Right.
they're just saying, oh, like it's not tango anymore. It's just a business. It's just a business.
Mm.
Like, have we commercialized tango so much that it's not tango anymore?
Mm.
Kind of like it's watered down so much that it's like it stops being the tango that we once knew.
Well, I think that's for everything. I think eventually things get diluted down,
Hmm.
right? I guess. I guess it depends on what people value, right? I think teachers have to put into the students that you have to value the feeling, right? Because students right away always want to learn the flashy sequences. And so I don't know. It's a tough one.
So would you say? I mean,
It's like how do you teach embrace, right? How do you teach someone to put all of yourself, all of your emotion, bottle it up and give it to somebody? How do you teach that? That's hard to teach.
it is hard to teach, but like you can take acting classes. That helps out a lot. I mean,
Mm.
I myself didn't take an acting class, but in stage we have acting exercises.
Mm.
And that's really helped me out a lot with the connection. Where Before I used to think that it's almost impossible to connect with someone deeply in open embrace. I thought you need more points of contact. You need like the whole chest on them.
Yeah.
You need two bodies melting together to have a good connection.
Right.
And it wasn't until I started taking those doing those acting exercises and thinking about emotional content that it made me more aware that it's possible to connect to that deep level in an open embrace also.
Is it more in an open embrace like something that's more airy, where it's kind of like you have this fluidity, but there's like still connection there? Because I would probably admit that I still probably tying those two things together, right? Like a nice embrace is close, like snuggly. Like how do you make something maybe it's how do you make something close and snuggly that's far away?
Yeah, a lot of it is like it's kind of hard to explain. For me, it's stuff with acting. It's kind of like you put so much like I mean, it sounds cheesy when I say this. It's almost like spiritual pressure, because
Yeah.
like those kung fu movies where like they're like I feel his presence,
Yeah.
like or like the Jedi's are like
Yeah.
like where they're like I feel a darkness upon us,
Yeah.
it's almost like that. Like you're projecting so much emotion that and so much connection that it's leaving your body. Like for me, I had to understand, especially with stage, I had to understand that my connection has to be so strong that the person in the back row could see it. Because when you're dancing for feel, when you're dancing socially, it's all you care about is the partner in front of you, right?
Yeah.
But when you have to like put so much into your so much into your grounding, like you have to like have that like it's almost like a science. Like you have to unload your weight so much and have that timing because once you go through, like you kind of lose that connection. Like you have to ground so much that um, the presence is felt the presence of your whole body is felt in your fingertips. It's like it's almost like I'm doing this and like my whole body is extended forward. It's like I joke that it's like spiritual pressure because I watch a lot of kung fu movies.
Yeah.
But it's almost like that. It's like you're like your key is like out there. Like it's like like it's all. I mean, it's almost like the Dragon Ball Spirit Ball or like a Hadouken, whatever. It's all there. It's like you're projecting your actual spirit out there that is connecting with us. So, do I need the physical contact? Um, I mean, the physical contact still feels better. Don't get me wrong, but to have that strong connection where I could feel everything and she still feels good, I feel good,
That's
and
cool.
like I think it really takes that acting class to like understand that your body is not your limitation. Like the connection doesn't stop here. It's like it's almost like I got a little peek at the Chicho class because Chicho's like she's over there. She's like 10 meters away. You can still connect with her.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the tools to understand that. I'm like, dude, I like Jedi mind tricks, man. I don't know what I'm doing here. And now that I'm learning stage, I feel that I mean I'm not doing like 20 meters like Chicho,
Yeah.
but I feel like at least I'm getting 20 inches or like
Yeah.
20 centimeters,
Yeah.
like and I don't need like I don't need a person lying on my chest. So I think it's possible to teach that through acting, through I don't know, maybe therapy, through I don't know what, There's probably things.
I think it's a lot has to do with balance, and so I think too many people get stuck on one or the other, and I think that you need a balance of both. It's kind of like the yin and yang side, kind of like the white and the black, and they kind of intersect each other. I think that for those people that are so concerned on the look, they sacrifice the feel, which is not great because they're always looking. You've seen those dancers; they're always checking themselves in the mirror. They're always video recording themselves to see how they look like, which is not a bad thing. That's actually pretty good to see where your axis is and the truth behind your dance. Um, and then the opposite side of that is there's people that focus so much on the feeling that they don't care what they look like. I don't care what I look like as long as I feel good, and so they don't even have any conscious towards their the look of things.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about how Pupi Costello was amazing, and I think he is amazing. But dude, he's got like a hunchback.
Yeah,
I mean,
like posture.
no, I mean, like, I don't mean to speak poorly of him because he can run circles around me.
I mean, to pay fair, whenever you watch the older maestros and milangueros, you're watching them past their prime, most likely.
Yeah. But
they're not watching them in their peak form.
yeah, true. But still, when you talk about like aesthetics and everything,
Yeah, but that diminishes over time.
that's true. That's true. But but when I looked at like people who were older, like uh, you know, like Vitrovo,
Mm,
he still stood really straight. You know, Fortaleza still stood very straight in like his older age.
that's true.
You know, um, I think it might be a little harder for Poopy since he was a bigger guy and he's
More
probably carried a lot.
stockier,
Yeah,
bigger.
carried a lot of weight and maybe like I don't know if he had a desk job or something, but like I mean my posture's crap from my desk job. So like every time like that's why I'm like hey let's work back because like I need a you know
Yeah.
um but yeah man like going back it's just it's an age I think it's an age long discussion what's important and I think it comes back down to like what do you really want out of your dance?
Mm.
Do you want to be like the local social superstar? Do you want to compete? Do you want to teach?
Let's just put it from our perspective. Do you think it's better as a guy to have better look or better feel?
Oh, okay. Let's put it this way. I want a woman to feel good, but
Right.
for me to get more dances and better dancers,
Yeah.
I'd invest in the look.
Really?
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, like I've seen it many times. People saying, "I just want a nice simple dance," right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like, but then what do they rave about? Oh my God, he's so dynamic. Like he spun me around 50 times, and I like, it was like I felt so much energy. I'm
Hmm.
like, well, sure, if you want to dance with a tornado, but um, but that's what going, but that's what it seems like that's what people go for.
And that incentivizes teachers to teach more crazy, flashy
Yeah,
sequences, and thus the cycle continues, right?
yeah, yeah. Um, but like there are people who really there. It's like there are people who value feel. There are those out there, but I would say that um, if I'm shooting for low hanging fruit because I shoot for low hanging fruit quite often.
Yeah.
I shoot for feel. I not shoot for look. I'm sorry. I shoot for look. I want feel, but I shoot for look.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like if if a girl wants to dance with me, she should focus on feel, and I'm gonna know by the way the guys are grinning when they're dancing with her. You know?
I hear you. I mean, I was always biased towards feel, and maybe that's some of my downside. Even in like tango competitions, I swore by like, all right, I still want to feel good. Like, I still want my partner to feel good out there, even if we don't, look whatever. And like, I was always hoping that the look would be end the result of a great feeling,
Hmm.
right? And so I was hoping that it would unravel. Lo and behold, that I've known that over the years that you have to work on the look and the aesthetic. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way around it.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting because part of the stage training is every beat should be a a camera shot.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
photo Kodak moments.
yeah. So every beat, so I found that very interesting because that's something I never thought about. I always thought about oh you just need to like have like the highlight moments, like the slow pause and the climax of a pugliese or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But no, the more of it is like no, like everything needs to be aesthetically pleasing because like nobody cares about like if you have that one home run hit, you're still losing, if you miss everything else.
You know what? The more I think about it, actually, I guess I do recommend based on the look
Hmm.
because most of the people when I recommend, it's based on my experiences of dancing next to that person
Hmm.
or seeing them at many festivals and
Yeah,
then watching them dance and they look pretty good.
yeah.
And so, because I most of the time the leaders I recommend to some of my follower friends, most of the times I've never personally followed them. I just like I've seen them many times before. They seem to dance with more experienced people.
Hmm.
You should try this person out, but I've never like
So
felt the feeling, but so I recommend based on looks.
yeah, well here's another question. So we all competed, right? And you ever get that feeling like that person's gonna win, even though you didn't see him, you just felt that presence of like, oh man, like powerhouse in the corner there, like you could feel it.
You can feel it.
Maybe I'm just sucking myself
Oh,
out.
yeah, what the heck?
No, like, you never like
No, I look and like, oh man, they're gonna be
no no
problematic.
no.
That's
Okay, yeah, so, okay they had that look like they had that look because they look good, right?
yeah.
But I'm talking about like you get on the floor and like you get that itch on the back and you're like I mean when someone's like approaching you and like they feel like a Mack truck
Hmm.
and you're like oh dude I better get out of their way and you don't need to look behind you just know they're there
Yeah.
you never felt that on the floor like
Okay, I guess, yeah.
So that's one of the recommendations I have for ladies because like when I feel that, it's like, oh my God, there's so much power running through them,
Mm.
that I could feel them. I could feel their presence,
In the
like
force.
yeah, like four couples away. It's like because that's part of that pressure of the floor craft. Like you want to pressure people. You don't need to like you know,
Yeah,
but you just like and like they're like, oh my God, they're like I should move. That's something I would recommend on. That's all feel.
fair enough.
Mm.
Well, we would like to know from all of you. What are you prefer? What are your preferences? Are you a feel person? Are you a look person? Are you some combination of both? What do you do when you recommend some of your friends? Are you more catered towards the feel or the look? We'd like to know based on your own experiences. You've heard ours, and yeah, let us know in the comments. But overall, thank you all so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Back by popular demand, we have our second edition of the segment we call Behind the Music. And since we had such a favorable response, we picked another song that is a huge favorite in tango, and it's the song called Uno, or One. And so that's the song we will be analyzing today. And yeah, we'll see what it's about. So it is the song is called Uno. It was written in 1943, and it goes like this. One, filled with hope, searches for the path that his dreams promise to his longings. He knows that the fight is cruel and long, but he fights and bleeds for the faith that drives him. One drags himself through thorns, and because he longs to give his love, one suffers and ruins himself until he realizes that he has been left without a heart. The price of punishment that one accepts for a kiss that does not come, for a love that deceived him. Empty now from loving and from crying over so much betrayal. If I still had a heart, the heart I gave away, if I still could love, like before, free from apprehension, I might be able, with my kisses, to shut your eyes as they shout your affection at me. Without thinking how much they look like those other wicked eyes, the ones that buried my life, if I still had a heart, the same one that I lost, if I could forget her, the one who destroyed it, and if I could love you, I would embrace your dreams to weep for your love. But God brought you into my life, not knowing that it's already too late, and I wouldn't know how to love you. Leave me to weep like one who suffers his whole life, the torture of weeping over his own death. Pure as you are, you could have saved my hopes with your love. One is so alone in his pain. One is so blind in his suffering. But a cruel chill, even worse than hate, the point where the soul dies, the horrific grave of my love, has damned me forever and stolen all my dreams away. One.
Hmm.
No.
You know what?
Jeez.
Like,
I used to think that song was so romantic.
you know what the funny thing is? All I can think of is like, man, what a tragic emo person. I thought emo was bad. This is like,
Next level.
that's not even next level. This is like a simp and incel. It's like he gave her everything. She left, and he's got blue balls. It's like, God, Lord.
And now another one's coming. I don't even want you. That's crazy, right?
Oh, jeez.
Wow. Like, so the other one we did was Nada, and it was about just the nothingness that was left behind. And I feel like this one, like, this person was the one, and there's even more people that are still coming into this person's life, and he's like, screw that, I've been ruined forever.
Like part two.
Oh
Jeez.
man.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, it's always like to me, it's always sad because like Marino's got such a great voice, you know, and it like to think how tragic this is. It's like I always I heard that voice wrong, because like it's like the song is romantic in a sense,
The tone is very romantic.
but it's like romantic in like a serial killer kind of sense.
Yeah,
It's kind of like I love you so much it hurts and no one else can have you, but I can't have you. So everybody, it's like you know, because it got so much angst behind it too. You know.
it does. Right? You don't really hear that because you really hear people always often explain tango songs as very tragic and very depressing, but you don't really hear the angsty side.
Yeah.
Like no one has ever explained to me like it's like the angst of something like that. It's always like, oh, it's like this deep, passionate pain and sorrow.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Well, because like yeah, because I think we just say that as yeah, because we don't understand it. We know it's too tragic, right? But like this gives like that flavor of angst, you know, of like you know, like that the guy's gonna lash out, you know. I you know like this guy like
Like just broken.
if I didn't know any better, he's like that Santa Barbara kid who like shot up
Oh my god.
you know it's like what was the Elliot whatever yeah.
Yeah. That's
No, like,
next level.
well, to me, like he's on that,
Spectrum.
yeah. So it's like, oh my God, like, you know, I mean, if someone wrote a poem like that, I would call, I would call the FBI. You know?
Yeah, PI.
That's like something's gonna go
Someone's
down. Something's gonna,
mentally
you know,
deranged.
like yeah, like like you know what they say, see something, say something, you know. But no, seriously, it's like, oh my God, that is. How are we gonna dance to this song now? You know?
That's like you just put such an image in my head from your mentally deranged, possibly psychopathic serial murderer. It's yeah.
Like this is like a Jeffrey Dahmer, you
Oh
know?
my God.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, let us know what you think about the song now that you've heard the English translation. Yeah, we would like to know your thoughts. And this was Behind the Music, and we look forward to adding other segments along the way. But thank you for supporting us in this endeavor, and we look to uncover more tango poetry for all of you. But that was Behind the Music, and we will catch you on another one.
Thank you for watching this episode of Left Foot, Right Foot. And thank you for all of the subscribers who helped us reach 500. We're now YouTube partners, and our next goal will be 1,000.
Yeah, it means a lot to us because I know we're very fortunate to reach 500 so fast and to become YouTube partners so fast. We really have all of you to thank, and we're looking forward to making more content for you and to hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark as soon as possible. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.